to a tiered approach, applying the toughest measures to the parts of the country where cases and pressure on the NHS are highest, and allowing greater freedom in areas where prevalence is lower. While the strategy remains the same, the current epidemiological evidence and clinical advice shows that we must make the tiers tougher than they were before to protect the NHS through the winter and avert another national lockdown. So we've looked at each of the tiers afresh and strengthened them, as the Prime Minister set out on Monday. In Tier 1, if you can work from home, you should do so. In Tier 2, alcohol may only be served in hospitality settings as part of a substantial meal. And in Tier 3, indoor entertainment, hotels and other accommodation will have to close, along with all forms of hospitality except for delivery and takeaway. Mr. Speaker, I know that people want certainty about the rules they need to follow in their area. These decisions are not easy, but they are necessary. We've listened to local experts and been guided by the best public health advice, including from the Joint Biosecurity Centre. We set out the criteria in the COVID-19 winter plan, and we published the data on which the decisions are made. As the winter plan sets out, the 5 indicators are the case rate in all age groups, in particular cases amongst the over 60s, the rate at which cases are rising or falling, the positivity rate, and the pressures on the local NHS. When setting the boundaries for these tiers, we've looked not just at geographical areas, but the human geographies which influence how the virus spreads, like travel patterns and the epidemiological situation in neighbouring areas. While all 3 tiers are less stringent than the national lockdown that we're all living in now, to keep people safe and to keep the gains that are being made, more areas than before will be in the top 2 tiers. This is necessary to protect our NHS and keep the virus under control.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I know it's unusual to take points of order before statements, but this is a matter of extreme importance. At 11:14, it was announced that you could find out which tier you were in via a journalist rather than the statement to the House. Now, I know the Secretary of State is standing outside. I think this is an absolutely appalling way to treat Parliament. Could I have your advice on whether this was an appropriate thing to do? In fact, the website has crashed because everybody is on it. There's no point in being in this chamber, Mr. Speaker, where we should hear the announcement first. We might as well be sitting remotely, which the Leader of the House isn't allowing. Could I have your advice on whether this was an appropriate way to deal with the tiers? Important information.
What I would say is it's still a point of order to the Chair, but I do have an opinion. This House, and I'm sure the Leader of the House totally agrees with me, this House should be informed first. We keep telling the government that is the way that good government should treat and respect this chamber. It is not acceptable to put it online. The only good thing is about the government, it's crashed, so it's not helpful. So it might be that we do get the statement first, but it is not acceptable. I do say, once again, I know the Leader will pass on, in the strongest terms, this House should hear it first. We are elected to hear it first, and they should give the respect that this House deserves.